Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Group of people willing to obey orders. The department responsible for hiring and training and placing employees and for setting policies for personnel management. Of a law, having legal validity. Group of people willing to obey orders. A public force is necessary to give security to the rights of citizens. Physical energy or intensity. He hit with all the force he could muster. A put-out of a base runner who is required to run. The put-out is accomplished by holding the ball while touching the base to which the runner must advance before the runner reaches that base. The shortstop got the runner at second on a force. To cause to do through pressure or necessity, by physical, moral or intellectual means. She forced him to take a job in the city. Force into or from an action or state, either physically or metaphorically. Urge or force, a person, to an action, constrain or motivate. Move with force. Impose urgently, importunately, or inexorably. She forced her diet fads on him. Squeeze like a wedge into a tight space. A unit that is part of some military service. He sent Caesar a force of 6,000 men. One possessing or exercising power or influence or authority. May the force be with you. An act of aggression, as one against a person who resists. He may accomplish by craft in the long run what he cannot do by force and violence in the short one. Take by force. A group of people having the power of effective action. He joined forces with a band of adventurers. A powerful effect or influence. The force of his eloquence easily persuaded them. Do forcibly, exert force. Don't force it. Physics, the influence that produces a change in a physical quantity. Force equals mass times acceleration. The department responsible for hiring and training and placing employees and for setting policies for personnel management. The department responsible for hiring and training and placing employees and for setting policies for personnel management. The department responsible for hiring and training and placing employees and for setting policies for personnel management. The persons, or committees or departments etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. An ordered manner. Orderliness by virtue of being methodical and well organized. His compulsive organization was not an endearing quality. The act of forming or establishing something. He still remembers the organization of the club. The activity or result of distributing or disposing persons or things properly or methodically. His organization of the workforce was very efficient. A group of people who work together. The act of organizing a business or an activity related to a business. He was brought in to supervise the organization of a new department. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. The facts were familiar, but it was in the organization of them that he was original. The persons, or committees or departments etc., who make up a body for the purpose of administering something. An ordered manner. Orderliness by virtue of being methodical and well organized. The act of forming or establishing something. The activity or result of distributing or disposing persons or things properly or methodically. A group of people who work together. The act of organizing a business or an activity related to a business. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. A specialized division of a large organization. You'll find it in the hardware department. A specialized sphere of knowledge. Baking is not my department. The territorial and administrative division of some countries, such as France. A self-contained part of a larger composition, written or musical. He always turns first to the business section. A specialized division of a large organization. She got a job in the historical section of the Treasury. The cutting of or into body tissues or organs, especially by a surgeon as part of an operation. Geometry, the area created by a plane cutting through a solid. One of the portions into which something is regarded as divided and which together constitute a whole. The finance section of the company. A small class of students who are part of a larger course but are taught separately. A graduate student taught sections for the professor's lecture course. Divide into segments. One of several parts or pieces that fit with others to constitute a whole object. A section of a fishing rod. A distinct region or subdivision of a territorial or political area or community or group of people. No section of the nation is more ardent than the South. A division of an orchestra containing all instruments of the same class. A land unit equal to 1 square mile. A segment of a citrus fruit. He ate a section of the orange. A small army unit usually having a special function. A small team of policemen working as part of a police platoon. A very thin slice, of tissue or mineral or other substance, for examination under a microscope. Sections from the left ventricle showed diseased tissue. The military forces of a nation. The force of policemen and officers. An irregular armed force that fights by sabotage and harassment, often rural and organized in large groups. An irregular armed force that fights by sabotage and harassment, often rural and organized in large groups. The force of workers available. With, in, guardianship over. In divorce cases it is the right to house and care for and discipline a child. My fate is in your hands. The learned profession that is mastered by graduate study in a law school and that is responsible for the judicial system. He studied law at Yale. A rule or body of rules of conduct inherent in human nature and essential to or binding upon human society. The collection of rules imposed by authority. Civilization presupposes respect for the law. The force of policemen and officers. The law came looking for him. The branch of philosophy concerned with the law and the principles that lead courts to make the decisions they do. A generalization that describes recurring facts or events in nature. The laws of thermodynamics. Legal document setting forth rules governing a particular kind of activity. There is a law against kidnapping. Personnel having direct job performance responsibilities. Personnel having overall planning and direction responsibilities. The force of workers available. The force of workers available. The military forces of a nation. Their military is the largest in the region. Associated with or performed by members of the armed services as contrasted with civilians. Military police. Characteristic of or associated with soldiers or the military. Military uniforms. Of or relating to the study of the principles of warfare. Military law. The military forces of a nation. The military machine is the same one we faced in 1991, but now it is weaker. Someone who serves in the armed forces, a member of a military force. Soldiers collectively. A military corps that enforces discipline and guards prisoners. A force that is a branch of the armed forces. Land tenure by service in the Lord's Army. A military corps that enforces discipline and guards prisoners. A member of the military police who polices soldiers and guards prisoners. The force of workers available. A force that is a branch of the armed forces. The force of workers available. The military forces of a nation. A group of civilians organized in a military fashion, especially to operate in place of or to assist regular army troops. Of or relating to a group of civilians organized to function like or to assist a military unit. A group of civilians organized in a military fashion, especially to operate in place of or to assist regular army troops.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.